check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, you guys can hear me. We're good, right? Alright. We're back. I got the multi-camera set up. Try to fix some of this awful lighting. Boop. That should be better on the top camera, right? And then your middle camera. Pretty decent, right? Alright, how's audio, guys? You guys can hear me okay? Alright, so once again, if anybody has any requests, let me know. There's plenty of figures available in the room. Gonna wait to get a little bit of an audience, and then I think we're gonna do some figure reviews. I gotta set up my desk too. So in the meantime, if anybody has any requests, throw it in the chat. I'll do some sweeps of the room for you guys as we go along. Obviously, we're able to show multiple shelves right now. So this is the Star Wars over here. I can tilt this down. You can see some TMNT stuff over there. This is all Marvel over here. Oh, over here. Sorry. Good Marvel stuff over there as well. So just let me know if anything catches your eyes in general. If you guys have any requests, let me know. Let me know how audio, video is in general. Switching over to multicam setup for the night for the review stuff. I want to make sure everything looks and sounds good. Just going to be setting up my desk for reviews. But if you guys have requests in the meantime, you can throw them in the chat. How's audio sound? Well, if I'm over here, it's fine though, right? How's the quality of the audio when I'm like right here? Okay. We'll do more of a check when I'm like actually doing the reviews. I'm just setting up the desk for it right now. Okay. My thoughts on Funko going forward? I mean, the thing about Funko right now is that I don't think that they're the type of thing, from a retail perspective and from a normal people buying them perspective, that they can keep increasing their prices the way that they have been. Pop should be like $8. Let's be honest. I also think that this whole... It's nice to give certain shops exclusives and stuff, but if they're gonna play these stupid games where they either jack up the price, or they do some type of weird stream where they're just like tricking people into buying boxes that don't have anything in them, it's not gonna fucking work out. I don't think that they should be doing that type of shit. And they should be probably have some rules for the people that they're giving exclusives to. I don't think it'll completely die out. But they're not doing a great job of managing them. And their issue has always been giving the wrong stores exclusives that shouldn't have exclusives. Like, everybody remember Pop in a Box? And every time they had awesome stuff, like they had awesome symbiotes and stuff like that. And every time you would order something from them, they would come in a damaged box. And eventually they did lose their license. But that went on for way too long. You know, they had terrible customer service on that. So it's like, how are these people able to be a distributor if all you have is customer service complaints? It took years for you to fix the issue. So I think you'll still see them in big box stores and fan channel places. I think they just need to be careful about who they give exclusive business to, and they really got to be careful about their price hikes, because prices on a lot of that shit is out of control. Let me know if you want to add anything to that. That's I don't buy that many pops. The only pops that I buy are exclusives that I think are going to be worth something, or something that I personally really like. I really don't buy retail pops unless if it's something that I personally think, oh, I really want that. So, and most of that's going to be Spider-Man or Star Wars, and they've kind of touched on a lot of those things already. So, and the NFT pops, I never had a huge problem with them. I've obviously bought into a couple of them. But NFT pops were always going to be a thing. Well, NFTs were a thing, and NFTs aren't a thing anymore. So, you should be getting something for your purchase, even if it's ripping packs of cards. At least when you rip a real pack of cards, you're getting the cards. You can, if it's a game, you can deck build, or you can sleeve them up and put them on display. if it's anything that doesn't have a tangible thing in the collector industry, shouldn't be a thing. Yeah, they suck. And a lot of these companies, the management sucks. Hasbro has terrible management. I can't really speak to the imports because I don't really do much with them, but I'm sure that there's plenty of issues at those companies too. Like everybody knows that you're making so much money off of this shit. You're in an era where all the people that are obsessed with nostalgia have money, and it's been like that for years. All you have to do is just try to maintain the course, and you just do dumb shit. I mean, there are some bitty pops that I like, but do we need so many of them? There's way too many 10-inch pops. Like, how many fucking 10-inch pops can you possibly put on display? Like, I think that my favorite 10-inch pop is my Ultra Zord, but that makes sense because it's a fucking Zord. And it's all of the Zords combined. If you were to break apart that Zord piece by piece, they would be regular size pops, right? So it makes sense. And then they'll do like that giant Batman. I think they did like a really giant Batman, a really giant Boba Fett. Okay, I think that you're picking the correct characters to do this if you want to do that with them. But how many people want something that size? The whole point of collecting vinyl toys is that you can have a lot of them and have space for them, or they can just be little knickknacks that are on your desk. Why are we transitioning to bigger sizes of these? Doesn't make sense. I think they early on had the when they went public and oversaturated the market, it hurt. Got a new the Boo Boo's creeping. They're in critical status. Got a Raven over at the DCs. I do not have any Ravens. Sorry, no Ravens at the moment. Here's a look at some of the DC though. This is a Geoforce over here. I don't know why I have this specific thing right here blocking that, but that's Geoforce over there. Let me know if any of that DC stuff catches your eye. Yeah, we don't need 10-inch. There's specific instances where you can be using 10-inch. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for anime, they were smart to really get into anime, because I feel like there's more anime pops than anything else. I'm speaking into the wrong direction. I was like literally speaking into the wall over there. It's smart that they embrace the anime market. I feel like those are like the pops that sell the best. But there's so many. You know, and you can see that it's overproduced. If you go to I went to a Hot Topic a couple of weeks ago, and you can see it's all blind box, Labubu type stuff, key change, all blind box stuff. They still have pops. They have a lot less pops than they used to. And if you look at the pops that they have, they don't all have that Hot Topic sticker on it like they used to. There used to be a lot of Hot Topic exclusive pops in the store when you would go. Now, when I go, if I'll see one. If I see more than one, I'm very surprised. still has motion, right? Yeah, okay, good. Alright. Gonna transition into some reviews soon. Desk is almost ready. Boy, do we have a lot of effing figures to review. I tell you what. Got a lot of figures to take a look at tonight. Okay, I think we need more white on the Boogie. That looks decent, right? Push this back. Yeah, what order do we want to do these in? So, where's Marvel? G.I. Joe. And we got the Psylocke Thanos, which is also Marvel. We have a bunch of Marvel. So I guess we should do like the Star Wars and G.I. Joe first, and then go on a Marvel rant. Save that for last. We'll do these two. Temple Guard. G.I. Joe. We will go with the G.I. Joe first. Okay, if anybody wants anything, we can hook you guys up in between figures, but we're going to start doing some figure reviews right now. I think everybody needs to be shifted over more. Yeah, that's a little more centered. Alright, let's see how this goes. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Move that up. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this on? Check, check, check. Okay. We're not doing 80s Joes. I only have classifieds at the moment. We're doing some figure reviews now, though, so I'm actually going to start off with an Armored Cobra Commander if you want to take a look at him. This is the modern version. Whoa. Oh, hold on. I didn't hit record. Vocal record. Starting now. What's going on? Hotheads, it's Joe the Hut from Joba's Palace. Here with another action figure stream for you. So we're going to do a little What's in the Box action. We're currently live on Whatnot, YouTube, and Twitch. This will be archived on YouTube, and we'll break out some clips for TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff for a bunch of the different stuff we covered tonight. Tonight, we're going to be doing some figure reviews. So we're just going to do a little unboxing of a couple of different items. So, just a reminder, this is Joba the Hut from Joba's Palace. Remember to give us a follow across all social medias at Joba's Palace. Instagram, TikTok, obviously YouTube. We're currently live on Whatnot. If anybody sees anything that they're interested in, we have a multicam setup on Whatnot, so you can come, you can see the inventory that we're offering, as well as a camera that's showing the figures that we're reviewing as well. Some of the figures we have multiples of, so you can always grab something. Yeah, but let me know. Always feel free to shoot me a DM if you guys are after anything. Quick aside, someone asked about the Star Wars Halloween Witch. So this is the Dathomir Witch from the Halloween edition. This one, we're asking $40 for her. $40. So if you're interested in her at $40, let me know and I will run that listing for you. If you see anything else that you're interested in, we always do better deals on multiples. There's a lot of new stuff over here. There's also some more Black Series over here in the corner. So let me know. Throw it out there. Let me know if you have any requests otherwise, or if you want me to just run that witch for you. We are going to be concentrating on doing some reviews while we do this. So once I start a figure, please just be patient until that review is over, and then I can get back to doing inventory and stuff, just so that we can have good clean edits for the action figure reviews and stuff like that. We like to multitask around here. So let me know if you want the Dathomir Witch for $40. I can run her for you. All right, enough of that. So we're going to be getting to our first figure. We actually have a lot of figures. A nice backlog of figures. I got a 2-pack. I got a deluxe figure. I got another one here, another one here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 figures on the docket. So we'll see. We'll see if we get to all of them. That's the plan. But we're gonna first do our first look of the armored Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe Classified. Here's a good look at the box. Cobra Commander with combat armor is his official name in this line. Here's the back of the box. You can see he comes with his cool little iguana friend. He's got his backpack. He's got his gun. All that stuff. So, really cool version of Cobra Commander for us to take a look at. Happy they got to this in the line. So let's open it up and see how cool he is outside of the packaging. So there he is seated in the package. Obviously we got his little iguana. We got his blaster here. He has 2 heads. He has 2 sets of hands. And he has his backpack. Pull all this stuff out and take a look. Oh, he actually has 5 hands. He has 5 hands. Back into this off screen. Get the iguana out and chilling. Chill with Jabba. What up, Avi? You're just in time for the first figure review of the night. Goddamn. Oh. I think you can tell by that iguana that's chilling there who we're taking a look at. There we go. There we go. And this is why we need an editor. Alright, so here's the extra 3 hands. Oh, we do have to do breaker too. Did I have him on the pile? I'll double check. Yeah, we should do breaker next, that's true. So we got fisted hand. Two of those. We got the pointy hand. And he's got the 2 grabbing or gunslinging hands, trigger finger hands on him. Here's a comparison of the 2 head sculpts for you, right next to each other. God, those eyes are so cool. So it's really nice that they gave us these 2 head sculpts, because you can go with the serpent version or you can go with the human version. So very nice touch to say, let's give him the extra head sculpt, let's give him the option. Very cool. Here's the backpack. It really is a bigger version of his older backpack. I should have pulled out a Armored Cobra Commander for this review, but I guess we didn't. Maybe I'll take a second to see. Yeah, whatever. We can always do more footage later if we want to before we ship these, or I'll open a personal one. Alright, so there's all your accessories. Oh, wait, there's one more accessory. There he is. This awesome little iguana that we get with him. It's so funny and cool that they included this for us. You gotta love it. The deco looks great. I love all the different oranges that blend together and turn into yellow. It's just very nice. I, for years, had a Rainforest Cafe shirt that had an iguana on it, and I ran that thing into the ground. It had so many holes in it by the time I got rid of it, or did I get rid of it? Is it still in a bag somewhere? I'm pretty sure it is. Don't tell Annie. So there he is. Cool little iguana. So as far as articulation on this, you do have articulation in these front legs here. And there is articulation in the back legs as well. Can spin him around. Nothing else, though. Obviously, his tail is a little bendy, but it will snap back into place. So very cool. So there he is, our little iguana friend. Alright, but now it's time for the main event. At least of this part of the show. So here is your Armored Cobra Commander. So dope. So I am liking the silver here. I will say, let's take a look. Let's just see if we see any. I'm going to try to keep an eye out for marbleization. I'm really not seeing marbleization on here, which is nice. A lot of people have been chroming this, which is a really cool move. Don't think you necessarily have to. I think that the silver does look good like this. You can see when it catches the light, it does shine. But it's a flat silver, but it does still have some shine to it. Here's a little belt buckle, a little Cobra belt buckle. That's really nice. And then, yeah, nice blues and reds mixed in here, along with the black for the padding and the tubes. He's got a tube here. And he's got this tube here. I know the tube was the piece that would go missing a lot on the older version. Let's see, does this tube come out? It's definitely molded in here. I don't think that you can bend it off over here. So I don't want to push too far because it's not my figure, but there you go. So yeah, really nice look at the new Armored Cobra Commander. Seems less shiny than the Ring World Mando plastic. Yeah, it is. That Ring World Mando plastic did pop a lot more than this. But this feels very comic booky. I can see why people do want to put the shine on it, though. So you can get a marker and you can shine it up. There he is with the backpack on. We'll do a quick little articulation segment just to see if anything has changed here. Let me take the backpack off for this. He can't really look up that much, it appears. Or look down, really. I mean, let's see. Can we get it? It's just that he has this collar here, which appears to be blocking a lot of the articulation, the head going backward. But then I'm surprised we can't go too forward. I guess you have that neck joint there that wants to go, but it does just kind of snap back. So not too much articulation in the head. He is wearing this big helmet, so I guess you wouldn't necessarily be expecting him to be looking all over the place. He does kind of have tunnel vision, but he also does need to like turn his head more to like look at things. So he's going to be more of the Batman 89 type of look. So not too much articulation in the head there. For the shoulders, this is a separate piece here. So it will slide up and down and kind of get out of the way if it needs to. So that's a nice touch. If you want to go all the way back and around, just be careful because it's going to catch there. Let's see, for the elbows, got a nice elbow articulation, a little double joint there. It does have bicep swivel here. Obviously, we got the wrists, what we expect from Joe's. For the chest, he does have an upper body rotation here, and he has a waist rotation as well. So that kind of makes up for that less... I mean, he can still move his head this way, but I guess it kind of makes up for a little bit of the not being able to move the head up and down as much. But I would say that so far that is the weakness of the figure of the head. For the lower body, there's a split for you. Obviously, we got our kick forward. There's our kick back, which is decent. Let's straighten that up. Okay, not too much. It does have the drop-down hips that we've come to expect from G.I. Joe Classifieds. Here's your knee. There you go. It does snap out, so you can get a nice double-jointed knee going on there. Very good. There's no extra, like there's no shin cut here. Ooh, it does have a rotation at the bottom of the foot, though. That is interesting. So it has obviously the ankle, right? But instead of putting like a rotation up here, they put a rotation down here. Like this piece here, right above where his ankle is, does go full rotation around. And that is separate from just the ankle. So that, yeah, that is definitely a nice little addition there. And it hides itself well. I guess we're going to have to see. I mean, yeah, I mean, if he wants to go with like a wider pose like that, he can hit that a little bit easier. I should push you guys down a little bit for that. When we get to him standing, I'll back him up a little bit. Yeah, so that's a little surprise in the articulation section there. Very nice. All right, let's mess around with some of these accessories. So obviously we have the serpent head here. Let's take a look at him with the human head. Pop that right on there. Yeah, that's good. So here's how he looks with the human head. So if you want more of a human look. That's very nice. Cool. I mean, you know, I'm going to be going with the serpent head. So it's going to be hard to pull me off that serpent head, so let's switch back to that. But nice addition. I'm happy they did that. For the hands, yeah, I think I want the pointy hand. Oh, you know, he doesn't have like a pet. Interesting. Well, let's see. So we can get his gun in his holster here. Slides right in there. It's a pretty big handgun. I want a little pointy hand on this side, so let's swap that out. Oh, the pointy hand is on the other side. That's all good. Pointy. There. Oh, where is it? There it is. Okay, get a pointy. I think I want... Give me the fisted over here. Let's see how this goes. Go. That back in there. Alright, let's get him in a nice wide standing pose. We'll try to use these rotating feet to our advantage here. Look that way with the point. And then who's going to be riding along? Our iguana. How do we get him to hold this? Let's see. Can we put it on his shoulder? I mean, I guess on the box they kind of just have it at the bottom, but I would like to be able to have him like cradling it. It is a big fucking iguana though. Let's see if we can get that to stay. Okay, that might be locked in. Get a little more free roam with our camera here now then. Alright, there he is, all armored up. He's got his little iguana chilling. Oh, he needs his backpack too. Give me his backpack. Actually, you know what? The backpack might help be able to put the iguana on his shoulder. I will try that in just a second. We can try to get him going. Obviously not the most dynamic pose, but I don't see him as like a dynamic pose figure. I see him as like, get him in his most demanding pose. Make sure that you're highlighting the fact that he has a really awesome iguana, and there you go. That's where you're at. Do it all. You can't do this to me! My iguana friend! Got any clones? I'll check for you in a second, Vibe Sports, once we're done with this Armored Cobra Commander. So there he is. I do want to... Let's try to get this up here on the... Over here. Like, can I get this guy chilling here? Locked in over there more. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I might like that a little bit more. It's me, Cobra Commander! Alright, so there's a look at Cobra Commander. So, pros and cons on this quick. I do like the deco. Obviously, I like the accessories. We got, I think this is a nice amount of accessories. Backpack, gun, extra head for whatever type of version you want on this, and giving us the iguana is fantastic. So I think that the accessories are a win here. Plus a lot of extra hands to do whatever you want with. Or he just falls over. Back over there. Deco overall is pretty good. It could shine a little bit more. You shouldn't have to do a marker to shine that up, but that's really more of a choice. The mold itself, I think, is fantastic. I think that there's a lot of really nice detail on here. Weaknesses. Biggest weakness, head rotation. You can't look up, you can't look down. That's not great. That's not great. I think you might be able to give it a pass on this figure just because I don't see him looking around a lot. But that's definitely a negative. Like I said, for the deco, you might be able to take some points off for just the overall shininess. Obviously, we've had other Hasbro figures that are a little bit shinier, but not necessarily. That's fine. But yeah, I would say just really the head thing is maybe another accessory or two, but I just gave the accessories a positive score, so I'm not going to go back into that. Maybe like a knife, you know, maybe a knife would be nice. But if you don't have a knife, to just give him at this point in G.I. Joe Classified, I think it's fine. So overall, really like this figure. I will probably keep one for myself. This one is obvious. But there's a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Armored Cobra Commander. Okay, Vibes. For clones. My cloney baby. I have a... I don't know what you can see. We can't. Oh, let me go over here. We've got Cody up here, if you need Cody. I'm on the top camera right now, by the way. And then we have a bunch of Black Series options over here. So we got the Umbra, we got a Rex, we got Crosshair, we got Jet Trooper. I have the really hard to find Camino. I got a 212 Battalion. I got a Phase 1 clone. There's some clone options for you. There's a Battle Droid up top. And then also over here we have the newest version of the Stormtrooper. And we have the Obi-Wan and 212 Clone 2-pack over there. So let me know if any of those caught your eye for the Black Series stuff. If you want to take a look at any of those clones while we're over here looking at the inventory. If you need a closer look at anything, if you need a price on anything, let me know. Once again, we always do better deals on multiple items. So just shout it out. The Stormtrooper is my favorite Black Series armor builder. There you go, Avi. Makes sense. Alright, Vibe. Let me know if you saw that. I just want to give you the time before we switch over to the next figure, and then you have to wait again because you were patient waiting the first time. Alright, what do we think about this Cobra Commander? Do you guys agree with me on the pros and cons? Yeah, I don't think that the head part is going to be that big of a deal in the long run. I don't think it's going to ruin the figure for anybody. 8.75 out of 10. There you go. Avi, how's video audio quality? Is my audio good? Okay, cool. This is so good audio today. You do such a good job. You such a good job, you do. Yeah, this one right here? Yeah. Well, the lighting is good. The lighting is on point because I have a light up here. Oh, you can't even see that. I have a light up here and I have a light over here. So, able to hit the multi-angled lighting, which always helps. We have to do breaker, right? So actually we need to pull the breaker for you. Did I have one? Oh, there was one that had a scratch on the box. I think that's the one that I wanted to do. Let's see if I can find it. I thought I had a breaker that it was in really bad shape, but all these look pretty good. Yeah, this is the one with the scratch. Okay. So that'll get replaced over there. This is the one with the scratch. This is the one we'll open. Anything Yoda. I don't think I have any Black Series Yodas in the room. I don't think I have any 3 3/4 inch Yodas either. Yeah, let let me know what scale you're thinking on that, Billy. Not the, no, they didn't do the chair on its own. 3 3/4 inch. Let me think. Let me think for a second here. This is Dagobah R2. Funnily enough, I need some light over here. Oh, you know, I got, yeah, okay. I have this Force Link one. If you're interested in that, let me show it on a good camera. Here's a nice Force Link one. If you're interested in that one at all. Box is in decent shape. Maybe a little down there, nothing too crazy. If you have the Force Link connector, he will talk to you. There's a option for Yoda. So let me know, Bill. Can do a good deal on that if you want that one. How much? I would run this at like $6. Let me know if you want it for $6. We can go through some more 3 3/4 inch if you'd like to build some type of bundle though, but I'll toss them up at like $6. Yeah, that's fine, Bill. All good. I can do that. Let me set up the listing for you. Fix the shipping too. Alright, that is your listing right there for $5. So go ahead and grab it when you're ready. Thank you. Appreciate that. If you have any other requests, let me know. I do have a Dagobah R2 to pair with him, if you're interested. This one. From Empire Strikes Back. Which is a good way, because then you can kind of use this base as a little background for the two of them. Plus, it's the dirty version, so it is like them fighting over stuff. He has his cane, so you can do the like smack him on the head type thing. So if you don't have a good R2 and you're looking for a Dagobah one to pair with him, that is a good option. Technically, this one also is supposed to have electronics, but I assume the battery needs to be replaced because it does not turn on. But this is a pretty nice 3 3/4 inch R2. So if you decide you want that, let me know. Or if there's anything else, or if you want to see some more 3 3/4 inch, just throw it out there. There's the Yoda. Just collect the Yoda. Okay. Well, actually, let me point this out then. That's alright. Alright, whatever. You got the Yoda. That's good. Alright, good stuff. Does anybody have any other requests while we're in sales mode, let me know. This is obviously up here the featured area for figures we're trying to sell. Oh, Avi, new item in. New item just came in. Mesco 112 Terrifier. Just arrived today. Of course, Bill. Of course. That's what we do. We got cool shit. Give us a bookmark. If there's other versions of Yoda that you're interested in, feel free to shoot me a DM. Let me know the details. I'll keep an eye out for them. We do work local toy shows, so we usually can find some decent stuff. Or I might have stuff like in storage or, you know. I mean, I still think that there might be a retro one here too, but... Oh, good. Alright. Anyway. Anywho. Let's get to this breaker. This is the ripped one, yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool, because he has the snake and stuff. That's a good one. Alright, for our next What's in the Box segment, we have the mass device. Slide ourselves back up here. Alright, for our next What's in the Box segment, we have the mass device Alvin Breaker Kibby. So here's a look of him in the package. We'll open him up. We can do a little comparison with the Armored Cobra Commander that we just opened. And it'll be a fun little G.I. Joe time for everybody. Here he is on the tray. He's got a decent amount of accessories. Get the head out of here. Get him out. He's got a knife. He's got a knife. It's all dug in. Get his knife out. Helmet. Here's the mass device piece. Got his backpack. Got a little silenced pistol. That is going to be a pain in the ass to get out of there, I guess. This, I guess, is an antenna, right? You guys can't even see what I'm talking about. Oh, it's more of like a hose. Okay. Boats and hose. Alright, here's a look at Breaker. I like this is a very nice color brown for this hair. And the beard matches. Very nice. He's got his little open close screen that he uses. It says A Kibby on the chest. E-4. Has the classic little compass over there. Got some pouches. Alright, let's stand him over here. We'll go through some accessories and then we'll take another look at him. Here's the backpack. It does have a spot for the hose, so I don't think it matters which side. You just plug the hose in right there. And then there's going to be some way to attach that to his body, I'm sure we'll get to. Here's a look at the head sculpts next to each other. So this will be a tough choice, I feel like, of whether you want to do the bubble gum or not. I'm leaning to non-bubblegum, but I do like the bubblegum head sculpt. For the bubblegum, does not come out. Yeah, I'm sure you could pull it out if you wanted to, but I'm not going to break the figure. Here's a little standard handgun. Slide the suppressor on it. Got his little knife. Here's a look at the helmet. Let's get the helmet on him. And we'll go with him with the helmet on. Very nice. It doesn't look too like oversized or anything. It doesn't look like it's too big for his head. The mic lines up perfectly with his mouth, so that's cool. Sometimes that can look very awkward. There's a plug to put the hose in. Let's get his backpack on him. And then we can slide this hose in here. There we go. It's nice and flush now, and then it just has a... That's nice, the way that it like kind of curls. They did a good job with that. Because you can see it, but it's not in the way. And it doesn't feel like it's going to like just pop out. Like I have to put a lot of pressure on these to pull it out if I wanted to. We can holster his knife somewhere, right? Can we? We can definitely holster his gun here. Can we holster his knife? Doesn't appear. Oh, back here. So there's a little knife holster back here. Is it? No, that's for the, okay. This is how that works. You can put the suppressor here. And then you can put the gun over here. So suppressor and gun over there. And then I guess we could just have him hold his knife for now. Boop. Pop his little screen open. I'm thinking, oh, he also has a watch here, which actually, it's pretty crazy. Look how good of a deal they did with this, good of a job they did with this watch. You can read the numbers. Like, they're actually readable numbers. Hold on. 1824. And it's oriented in a way that he can... Sorry, this is really bad, but... There you go. And it's oriented in a way that it actually would be like, oh, he's like reading the watch. That's cool. So he's checking the time. I will say, no extra hands. Yeah, I don't think he came with any extra hands, which is interesting. Let's get an overall look at him here, though, now that we have him all geared up. So I do love the... It's a light gray with maybe a little blue to it. I do love the deco on this. That's a very nice color. And you can see it has like an even lighter gray there. So it is like a very much a bluish gray. I'm liking the accents on the shoulders for the black just to break it up a little bit. I do like this vest here. Something to compare this to that people didn't like would be like the Firefly. The Cobra Island Firefly had a really big tactical vest, and you couldn't even move them. We've gotten the more comic accurate version since then, but this is a nice size vest, and it doesn't really look like it's going to hinder articulation, but we'll get to that in a second. Work our way down. We got pouches. You got nice knee pads here. The boots have nice padding on them. Here's a look at the back. There's the backpack. Loving the way that this hose just kind of trickles in right there. I don't know if this is necessarily the best spot for this. I'm wondering if maybe we're better off putting the knife in there. But this is a very awkward holster here. Like, I'm guessing that I'm supposed to push this like as far down as I can, but it doesn't go that far in there. But I guess if you put it in there and then you put the backpack over it, then it won't get in the way as much. But we always like to being able to put all of our accessories on our figure, which is a thing that Classified does very well for the most part. I just don't think that there's a holster. Maybe we could have went with like an ankle holster or something for the knife, but it is what it is. Yeah, very cool. I'm digging this. Let's pop the helmet off. Let's take a look at his bubblegum head sculpt. Here's the bubblegum head sculpt without the helmet. That's cool looking. And then let's get the helmet on him. Which doesn't really work because it has this here. So I guess you could be like, maybe have it coming on. I mean, I get, yeah, you can't move the microphone. You can't move the microphone. So it is a little, I guess that is a little awkward. So like this is the way it would look normally, I guess. But it's like he's blowing a bubble into his microphone. That is a spot where I would say maybe it would have been nice to put some articulation on this microphone. So, oh, you know what I just figured out? You can holster the knife right there. So he can holster his knife. Just need to pay a little bit more attention to his upper body. So he can hold all his gear. And then here's his, so this is going to be one piece of the mass device, and then eventually we're going to get all the pieces. So they're kind of setting up a build-a-figure type thing. It's really more of a build-a-device type setup. Build-a-device type setup. But it's cool that we're starting to get those things. And then there is some articulation on the backpack here, so you could put his antenna like up and down, which is cool. I like it looking up. Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely like, which one do we like more? Throw it in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. Which one do we like more? Do we like him with the bubblegum or without the bubblegum? I'm leaning towards without. But it is a cool head sculpt, nonetheless. Good inclusion. We'll do a short little articulation segment because we pretty much know what to expect here. See, this is a comparison here, though, as you can see. Even with the backpack here, he can look up a lot more than Cobra Commander could. Here's your look down. Obviously, we can look left and right. I do like the way that they did this hose, because I'm moving his head in all different directions, and the hose is not popping out. So they definitely did a good job with that. Shoulders were going to be good. We can go as high as we want for the most part. We can rotate around. There's a bicep cut. We got our double jointed elbows here. You got to unlock this part of the joint. He has very thin arms, noticing. Very thin, like, forearms. But even like here, like he's got like the veinage and stuff, so nice details there. He's got the little cuff at the bicep for where his sleeve ends. We know about the wrists. We covered that you can articulate this little screen up and down. You do have to work around the knife to do that. Let's go for the vest. So he has this upper cut here, if you can see it, that is under the vest, right there. So you can access it a little bit, but not too much. Like, you can't do the full ab crunch there. But you can still do a rotation here. I will say that these Yeah, I'm not liking the holster and the belt kind of do get in the way of this. So you just got to kind of get him in his pose and then get those things back where they want to be. It's doing the belt over a belt. Like there's a belt on him, like molded onto him, but then there's also this separate belt that's serving as our holster. So you kind of like got to keep that clear if you want to do all that stuff. But still good articulation there. He's got the drop down hips. He can probably do a really good. There you go. He could do a really good split for you. There's nothing getting in the way of him doing that split. He has an upper thigh. He's got double knees. Very nice double knees. He has a boot cut here. And then regular ankle pivot articulation there. All right, cool. That's Breaker. I feel like he's like a kneel down type guy. Just nice to have that boot cut because you can really get him down there and then try to pop the hip back into there. And then I like the, hey, I'm looking at my watch to figure out, you know, or he can be looking down at, which is nice that he can look down. Even with the bubble gun, he can look down. He can be like ready to go. Can maybe have his getting ready to holster something type thing. I should just give him his gun at this point. I like the knife on him. Give him the knife. And he's got his mass device piece right there as well. Oh, there's a nice zoomed in look at our boy there. Ooh. There he is. Okay, so pros and cons on the mass device breaker. I like the articulation. I like the... Okay, so accessories. I like the gun they gave him. He doesn't need a big loud gun. Obviously, getting the 2 head sculpts. I don't like the bubblegum head sculpt as much as I thought I would. But now that we have him here in this pose, I think I do like it here. When I was really messing around with the microphone and trying to see whether it makes sense, I think I'm okay with it. Because he's in the middle of blowing a bubble, so it doesn't have to necessarily, like... If it gets on his microphone, it's even funnier. So I like the head sculpts. That watch, it's so cool. The fact that it, like, I don't know. For some reason in my mind, I'm amazed by the fact that they could make those numbers so small and readable. So good job on that. Mold overall looks great. I love the color. The color is probably my favorite thing here. The color of this gear. Good articulation as always, as we've come to expect. Yeah, not too much to complain about. I will throw some complaints in there. I think his holsters don't make much sense. I think having the holster in the back for the... I just would have went with more of a... Show it again. I would have either had this open, like it's almost like I want to cut this piece open so that you could just slide this all the way in there. The fact that this only goes a portion of the way in there doesn't make sense to me. Like, I guess it looks cool having it pop out, but you could do it in a different way. It's really more like the location of the belt. Like, even now, he's got the belt over a belt. Like, you really got to get that belt where you want it to be, but then it, like, wants to slide back and all that stuff. So I think it's just, like, really more the belt and the way it is and, like, some of the holster stuff I'm not too crazy about. And then the other thing I'll say is it is very strange that we didn't get any extra hands with this figure. Am I mistaken on this? There's literally no extra hands with this figure. And kind of weird. I mean, I guess you could argue that there's other Joes that you can swap hands with, but he is pretty tan, so you would definitely have to make sure that you choose the right hands. And his forearms are bare, so it's not like you just put random unmatching hands if you want to do something. But yeah, it would have been nice. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. You got some decent accessories here, but I think the hands is probably missing out. We all have a lot of G.I. Joe hands, so it's not the end of the world. but there's something missing there. But overall, I mean, I do like this figure. I liked it more than I initially thought that I would. Now that I have it out of the packaging, I really do like the color of it. And I'm excited to see what other things they give us that'll help us finish this Master Device piece. The Master Device piece overall looks pretty good. It's nice and sparkly. It's the yellow one. I'm sure the blue and the red, I think, is the colors that we're getting. In addition to this, will look just as cool. Yeah, blue and red. So we'll see. We'll see what we get with the Master Device. But overall, cool figure. Cool figure. I don't think that he's as necessarily as good as the Cobra Commander that we just did, which we can do a little side-by-side here. So here's Cobra Commander with his iguana and the Breaker over here. Put all these guys together. So there's a brand new Joe next to a brand new Cobra right there. Good stuff. So I like it overall. Obviously, a little bit of constructive criticism to throw out there, but, you know, classifieds are classifieds. You know that you're going to get a decent figure pretty much every time out. They have a smart reuse policy, it would seem. And they're giving us different versions of characters, which is great. Okay, so that's it for the G.I. Joe section of the show. While we are in between figures, if anybody has any requests, throw it out there. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm going to do a Star Wars figure next. Actually, I'm going to take a piss first. Be right back. Okay. Alright, I have a clone that I can compare it to, that's fine. Okay. Alright, switching gears on our What's in the Box stream. So this is the Star Wars Black Series Jedi Temple Guard, which is a character, a really army build type character that people have been waiting for a long time. So let's see how Hasbro did on this one. Here he is in the package. Here's a look at the back. You got some pretty cool art here of him on the side as well. But let's get him out of here. Let's get him out of here. See how we do. There he is in his tray. Interesting. It's like a kind of a weird texture on the back of that plastic. lightsaber out of here, which has the tape. Hold on, I don't want to break this. Always like to be very careful when taking the lightsabers out. Alright, here's the temple guard. Alright, we'll do accessories first. Here is his lightsaber. Close look at the hilt there. It's very glossy. It actually has a little bit of marbleization in there, which isn't necessarily terrible here. It kind of makes it look like a very granite-like hilt. It's got the yellow blades. You can pop these out and have it depowered. There's that yellow. They're a little more see-through and stuff. Yeah, so there's the lightsaber. It does have a peg here, so we will be able to peg it into somewhere. Let's see, where would be our peg spot? There it is. It's on his left side. You can peg it in right there. Get the hand over it. There it is, like pegged in. I don't know how many people are going to do that, but it is a good option. And it's not falling out too easily. It did pop in there, and fits in there correctly, so that's good. Alright, let's get to the actual figure itself. Okay. So here he is. Jedi Temple Guard. I'm loving the gold here. Very nice touches. Maybe a little bit of misalignment on that left side one. But not too crazy, not too noticeable. If you pull them back here, you don't even really notice it. It's just because I'm like right in the sculpt here. So this part is like a sculpt, and then they painted over that sculpt to bring it out, which is something that they should just always be doing. The hood looks good. The hood does not give you much room for articulation, so we'll cover that in a minute when we do the articulation segment. But overall, I mean, it looks good. It fits on him correctly. It's where you want it to be sitted, so I imagine if they did the cloth one that they usually do, that it would not look as good. So you gotta just kind of live with that. Also, these guys, I'm not expecting them to really being too much with their heads. I don't think you're going to be able to do a sideways stance with him, though, which kind of sucks because he does have a dual-wielding lightsaber, so we'll see how that turns out. Yeah, but I like the robes here. They're very, I don't know, holy. They're very priest-like robes going on here. He's got his little belt-like thing here, which has a bunch of little items on here hanging from this that alternate in a kind of strange pattern. So on the left side, it goes silver, gold, silver, gold, gold, silver. And the right side, it goes gold, silver, gold, silver, silver, gold. So kind of a strange pattern, but probably accurate. We do have soft goods down here, right at his waist going down. So that's a nice little touch there. It is sealed in the back. It's not open in the back, so you can see the stitching right there. And then he has like brown pants underneath this. It's got very interesting knee pads that I assume are going to jut out. Yeah, they're going to jut out like that. I'm sorry. He's a little tight. He's a little claustrophobic. But we'll get to that. And then it's got the nice boots here. The boots have nice little accents here. So there's like brown boot but then it has green accents on the bottom here. So that's cool. Yeah, here's a look at the back. Nice patterning on the back. Gives us that different darker brown into a lighter brown into a little like seam here. The arms are like these little gauntlets here. It's like almost like a leathery type gauntlet that has leather straps on it. Got cool little gloves on. Yes, overall, this one is all about the gimme the gold that really pops out over the rest of the stuff that he's wearing. He's all sculpted clothing, really, and then he's got the soft goods here. That's like the aesthetic that we're going for here. Very interesting. All right, let's jump into articulation because I feel like that's going to be the part where we have some criticisms here. So, like I said, this hood, you can't do much with it. It's bound here to his chest, so it can't move out of the way that way. It's very thick over here. It has nice wrinkled layering here, but I'm not seeing the ability to really like move his head there. Like this is all very much one piece. So in here, you can kind of move his head around. Like I can get his head turned there, but now he's looking into that. I go like over here. And then even like going up and down, it's just, you can't do much with the head here. It would have been interesting to see if they could have made this like a separate piece so you could really articulate more. I mean, it kind of is. It is kind of a. I wonder if we pop this over this maybe. Yeah, but then you still need to be able to. Yeah, I don't know. And now I'm worried about tucking this back under. So see if we can get that back under there. That's kind of a pain in the ass. The hood overall, kind of a pain in the ass. I don't know if you like this look more. I kind of want to tuck them back under there, but we'll continue with articulation. We'll deal with that in a minute. The arm, it can go up. It can get to kind of where it needs to get to. It's not going to get too high up because once again, this is a very thick piece of plastic here. He does have a. Can rotate there. He doesn't have a bicep. No biceps level. He has it at the elbow, obviously. A good like wide joint, like it has this joint. It is like a joint, like a single. I wouldn't call it a single joint. It's just a wide range of movement joint. That's what I'm gonna call it. Obviously, you can bend there. Nothing at the wrist. So there's that. It's going to be interesting to see if we can get him in a decent pose. For the waist, they did make these two separate pieces so you can move the waist. And he has a little rotation here as well. He can't bend forward too much. He can bend back a little bit. But this is a very big belt. For the legs, he's got to kick forward. Not really. I mean, I wouldn't want to go for a split here because the soft goods are here and you're going to start to wear on this part. So I don't really want to go for a split there. Yeah, he doesn't have an upper thigh. He's got the knees here that we mentioned, which is going to be very similar articulation to the arm. And obviously he can rotate that. These are going to kick out a little bit, which it is cool. It is cool. Nothing below the boot except for the ankle. So there's that. So now I am very interested to see how cool can we make this guy look. Which we all know that I'm not the best articulator, but I'd like to think that I could do something here. All right, let's get this like moving out here. Rotate that over so we can get him like a wide sideways stance. See, I don't even want to go that far. Like even now, I guess you could push this up like further up on his crotch, but I don't want to screw up this, like, because this is like almost like painted on here. I don't want to really screw that up, but let's see if we can get him like this. Going this way. Got to be able to dual wield his lightsaber. So let's get a hand on here. And a hand on here. Get in there, come on. We want those. Oh, I guess I would do it like that. So we can get him kind of like that. See if we can get him to stand like that. He's a little top heavy too, I'll say. Okay, so there's a little bit there. Alright. See how that goes. Oof. I don't think that I executed that very well. You think there's a full head under the mask? Yes. Oh, you mean under this mask? Oh. No, there's not. It is... Like, this is where you would pop the head off. I'm sorry, you can't really see that. Basically, I can see the bowl joint. I don't know, it's very hard to access any of these things. So that's like what we're looking at. I don't want to scratch the paint either. So. Alright, so Jedi Temple Guard. I am kind of disappointed with this one, to be honest. I mean, the articulation on this sucks. I'm just going to straight up and say it. And you guys know that I'm not too hard to please. I think the sculpt is fantastic. I think that the sculpt, you're sacrificing a lot of articulation with this sculpt. You can't move this guy's fucking head. You can't move his head. He has a dual-bladed lightsaber. You want to do a sideways stance with this dual-bladed lightsaber. This is the best I can get. Now, I know that other people are better at this than me. But... yeah, I think that they kind of screwed this one up. Like his upper, like the patterning of this robe was not well executed. It is a very thick plastic they use for this. It's almost like I want to heat this thing up and try to like just melt the fucking thing. There we go. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed. So let's do pros and cons though. Let's do pros and cons. So pros, deco, and the way that the sculpt looks. Deco and like the details on the sculpt, all of those things are on point. Like I think that those are fantastic. I like all the different colors we have going on here. The lightsaber is decent, but, you know, we know that they just kind of redid a lightsaber. It's probably... I don't know, who else has dual-bladed? I don't think it's not Maul's, but it's somebody's, you know? Does Savage have the dual blade? He does, right? I think it's maybe Savage. But that's the only accessory. So the one accessory they gave us was fine. But I'm pretty disappointed with this one. The cons are the sculpt was a positive from a aesthetic standpoint, but it destroys the articulation. Like I said, you can't move his head. You can kind of move his arms. When you're doing the legs, you have access to the legs, but then I'm worried about the one piece of soft goods they put on here is being held back by the paint they put on that, where I feel like it's going to be Like it's gonna, like this is gonna scratch off. Like it's like right now it's a little bit stretched. I feel like it's probably gonna scratch off. Yeah, so I mean, you know, you guys know that I am not the most hard to please person, but I'm not too big of a fan about this one. I mean, I think you literally, if you want to put him on your shelf, you're literally just gonna put them on there like this. And you put them, a couple of them, and then you put them like this. The thing about this hood, which Avi, I kind of made it easier for you because I got these flaps above the shoulder part, so I'm just gonna leave it like that because I know you want to tinker. This is a piece right here that I think can pop out. I don't want to pop it out right here. This is like pegged in here. So if you can heat that up, pop it out, get the hood off of him, I think it will probably come off. It's just more a matter of, like, the layering here is what's holding this back. I think if you can get this hood off of him and do a soft goods hood, then you're probably going to be in business. I would really like to see what you do with that. Because I'm not as worried about this piece. It's really just the hood piece that's, like, the big problem here. So there you go. There's the Jedi Temple Guard. Even though I talked a bunch of shit about it, we have more in stock. So if anybody wants any, feel free to let me know. That's funny. All right. So now we're in between figures here. So if anybody wants anything, let me know. Obviously, the top camera has your featured inventory for the night, and there's a bunch of other stuff available, so shout it out, let me know if anything catches your eye. Otherwise, we're going to move on to our next figure. The rest of the figures that we're doing are Marvel Legends, so if you're a fan of Marvel Legends, we have a bunch of them coming up right now. Yeah, you have to get more than one. I mean, Avi, let me know. If you want another one, I have another one, so I can just ship them together and you can start tinkering if you want. Up to you, or you can wait till next week, no problem. Yeah. So I guess I'll go with this one, this one, this one, this one. Alright, that's good. Time is it's 2 a.m. We've done 3 figures. Alright, keep rolling. Oh, good. All right. So we got, there it is. Still don't like how much easier these are to open these days. All right. The next item on our What's in the Box stream, going through a bunch of action figures, opening them and reviewing them. And it is going to be Shalabal, Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four First Steps. Love the box that they did for this set. Obviously, we all like the aesthetic of the Fantastic Four logo that they did for this movie. But yeah, like the color, it really stands out. She looks good in the packaging. Here's the back. We get a nice shot of her there. And then it just has like Fantastic Four symbols over here. It does not show any of the other figures in the wave, which I think was an interesting choice. So they kind of picked the aesthetic over the sales on that one, to be honest. It would have been nice if they could have worked that in there, but it is what it is. But yeah, let's take a look at her. So the cool thing is that you, and with all these figures that we've been going over, you do have a nice little backdrop. If you want to just set her up with the backdrop, you can. Alright, here she is in the tray. Looking cool. Separate tray for this piece, so let's get that out of there. Let's take a look at the board first. Here's the board. The board has really nice, wow. Very nice detailing on the board. This looks like a board that has been flying through space for quite a long time, or is currently in motion. See what just some detailing and then like a little bit of paint on those details can bring out. So that's very nice there. I like this board. This is a very nice looking board. So then I guess we can slide it in here. Let's see. Maybe the other way. There you go. So you slide it in like that. And it's right there. It's not going anywhere. It is where it needs to be, and it's not going. Very nice. And then there's your little stand for her. Good shit. Alright, take a look at these hands. Pretty standard hands. So she has this is a waiting for the Eucharist hand. She's waiting for the Eucharist with this hand. We'll call that. And then she kind of has her like gliding through space hands. You know, these are the magic-y cast spell hands, but you can still use it for the dainty flying hands. Got big calves. Alright, here's Shalabal. So I guess I didn't really realize it as much when she was in the box. She does have a lot of like almost bronze. Like, I don't know if it's picking up on the camera. Bronze like details here, which is very interesting. It's like she's like either pulsating or like moving through space, and that's like she's just encountering space wind or creating her own. I like it because it adds a little bit of motion to everything. Like I said, it adds motion to this for sure, the board, but it's also adding motion to like her. So this is really nice. Here's the face sculpt, which I think it looks good. I mean, it's a kind of a, let's see. In the camera, it looks like a little bit fatter than it really is. In person, it is like a little bit thinner, I think. I think it doesn't like show up as well on camera. Like really zooming in like that probably doesn't do it as much justice. But the hair looks good. They did a really good with the hair sculpt. I love the way that her hair was in this movie, that it like really is like her hair is silver and it is stuck in place, like it's not going anywhere, which is cool. Yeah, the silver with the little like bronze accents looks very nice, and you can see that she's very shiny. Like if you want to compare her, here's that Cobra Commander we did earlier. So it's like, I guess the complaint that you would have is look at the way that she catches light versus the way that he catches light. You know? That's a good comparison there, if I do say so myself. Yeah, but overall, I mean, it is a basic female figure, but I think that it's just, we always say with these type of sculpts how much the marbleization like wreaks havoc when they use this type of plastic. And you could see that on the back, her ass is all marbleized. Very marbleized ass. But with a character like Silver Surfer, where you feel like there's almost like a liquid pulse to the character, I don't mind the marbleization as much. Yeah, so then there's that. That's good. All right, let's jump into articulation because I do want to get her on the board. So this is her looking up. Obviously, she has very solid hair. Very solid hair. So that, little bit worried about that because I do want to get her in a nice flying on the board stance. So, but this hair is kind of in the way, but that is kind of the way that she is. Her look down is not great either. This is a very tight ball joint. She has such a tiny head that you're really just, this is what you're getting. Getting this, and getting this, getting this, and getting this. So it's almost like you need like a little like etching down there. Like you're not accessing, like she has this, hold on, let me pop this off. She has this whole ball joint here, which maybe it's just stuck. There we go. Let's unlock this ball joint a little bit better and loosen it. Put her head back on. Okay, now we go. Okay, here we go, here we go. So now we can get we can look down big time now. So just pop that head off, give that a little articulation on that neck so you can unlock that articulation. Now we get a little bit more. And then, oh, okay, so we can kind of like rotate it up and over that. It does kind of make it look like her neck is her chin when you do this. But you can kind of get that above that and get it like, I don't know, looking a little bit better there. So you got to really work the ball joint on this one, I think, to get it where you want to get it. For the arms, we're going all the way up. That's great. She does have a bicep. Here's the elbows. Nice. That is nice. For a female figure, that is fantastic right there. No pun intended. The wrists, you know, the wrists. We know what wrists do. We don't have to. I've been like skipping over that all night. She has this upper like breast cut here, which you can rotate her at, and you can give like a swivel going. There is nothing at the waist. All of your upper body rotation is coming from this breastplate right here. Nothing is at the waist. For the legs, here's your kick forward, which is decent. Here's your kick back, which obviously is going to angle out a little bit, but still decent. Here's your splits, not the best splits. Doesn't have the drop down hips. Here's your rotation at the thigh. This is very smooth. I'll call it smooth, but it could just be, I mean, I wouldn't say loose because it does stay where you want it to go. But the way that this plastic is, it just slides. Like it's very fast sliding. Here's your knees. Oh boy. See what just happened there? I went to pop the knee up, put a little bit of pressure here, and it shot all the way that way. So just be careful. There's your knees. Good knees. And then nothing at the ankle except for just regular ankle pivot rotation. But there's no like boot cut in here. I guess they didn't want to break up the sculpt at all. We'll see how that goes when we get her on the board. I don't think I really need the fists on here. I want to give me the Eucharist hand. Which is which one? The thumb is here. Yeah, thumb is here. So this is a right hand for her Eucharist hand. Which, is it more of a like that type thing? I think if I get her like that, I want her to be grabbing the Eucharist while she's gliding. And then give me a fancy hand over here. That's fine. So if you like got this one back here, ready to grab the Eucharist, or she's already carrying a Eucharist and she's trying to get it back to Galactus so he can feed on it. Alright, so now for the board. The board has one peg. So obviously we're going to pick a front leg and we're going to get her on that. So I'm going to go left leg up, rotate this, get her maybe like a little bit lower like that. Get this going here, bend forward, look up. Yeah, you gotta make sure that you really peg this in and keep an eye on that front leg. Where is it? There it is. So you guys are not seeing what I'm doing. an eye on that front leg, because like I said, what I was saying about the it being like a slippery plastic when you're articulating it, that does apply down here. So this might be like we need a little putty type situation to make sure she stays on there. But she's on there. I mean, she's there. This is where you want her. Like that looks good. She's ready to surf. You know what I mean? She's got a very wide stance going on. I would like to kind of tighten that up a little bit. But when you're putting all the pressure here down on this front foot, you need some kind of way, which I don't necessarily have a problem with us not having another peg there. But you're just probably going to need to put some putty on her feet so that it stays. That's all. Which isn't the end of the world. I mean, they're giving us an awesome stand here. Like this, the fact that this is included with this piece right here, like that's the accessory you need for this figure. So very happy with that. Am I missing another hand? Yeah, there's the other hand. Yeah, see, I mean, it's like she wants to fold up, but she doesn't quite fold up. I think the peg is big enough to kind of support her, but then there you go. When she rotates that weight too much, it will go. Let's see if we get... Then we gotta work your like ankle pivot too. I am concerned about her staying on this board long term. But she looks cool. I like it. I like this figure. It's a nice little breath of fresh air here. Do I have... Who do I have? I don't think I immediately have access to a Silver Surfer to compare this to. So that's alright. You will do that down the line. Alright, so overall I do like this. I think we got her into the pose you want her to be in. I wish they gave a magnetic board and feet shot again. Yeah, definitely. Alright, so pros and cons on this one. The overall aesthetic of this figure. The board with the etchings on it. It just creates such a feeling of motion in space. And those brown accents, I wouldn't sleep on those brown accents. I think that they really make it look like I said, like it's a motion feel when you have it in person. Which is exactly what you want out of a Silver Surfer figure. It's not just a Norrin red that's a little sparkly. You know, it has a little bit of extra something to it. I think it's gonna really, when you put her next to a Silver Surfer Norrin Rad, it's gonna really make it stand out a little bit. I like the face sculpt. I think it looks enough like the actress. I like the hair. The hair is not bendy at all, so it does kind of prevent you from looking up as much as you would want to. The accessories are fantastic. The board, this is the best Silver Surfer board that we've gotten. And this base is sick. The base is sick. And the fact that it can just sit there, it's right there, it's doing what it needs to do, you can get it on a shelf. I don't know if you can necessarily getting Galactus holding it. Maybe I'll try to take a picture of that when I move some stuff out of the way over here. If you can get the HasLab Galactus holding it, we can do a test with that when we're offline. But yeah, I think that it's just such a sick accessory. I think the aesthetic of the figure and the accessories they're giving you are fantastic. For cons, this type of plastic is just so slippery. I'm a little bit worried about warping over time, but that's fine, whatever, we can figure it out later. The place that this shows up the most, though, is with that peg on the board. And like I said when we were talking about the board, we need a little bit of putty just to keep it where it's going to go. But I'm worried about her holding this stance because, like, if the body rotates at all, then she's going to fall off because the peg, while it is a decent sized peg, it's slippery. You have to feel it to see it. There's like this. I don't know. It's just a slippery plastic. Oh no, is it gummy? It's not gummy. I guess you could argue. Yeah, it's a little gummy. I mean, it's more solid than some of the gummy stuff we've gotten in the past. Like, it is solid. Like, it's not like... Yeah, it is solid. Like, the legs are very solid. So it's not as gummy as you would think. Like, obviously the hands are kind of soft. But I don't think that the was even there she wanted to go. I think it's a little bit harder than gummy plastic we've gotten in the past. It's interesting. It's definitely not the best plastic, but I think it's solid enough. It's just, I think you just need, in certain spots, you're going to need to give it a little bit of help. That's all. What did that guy say? I need that guard frog. You can't have it. It's mine. Stay away. Yeah, so there's your Shalabal Silver Surfer. I mean, I know what you guys think about this one. This is actually a nice little comparison here. Her, like, in space with this little brood guy. That's a cool square off right there. Let's get our iguana on here. See, she just slides right off there, though. Let's see if we can get her to keep that at all. Actually, I'm here to ask if you have a Moship Benid or a Hurricane. I do not have either of those. Sorry, Genghis Khan. You're looking for Cantina people? So once again, I'll point you guys to the top camera. That's the one that's going to be showing off all the inventory type stuff. I don't know, what do we think? That's 4 figures, and I have 4 more. Oh, Jesus, Avi. Well, we're gonna ship stuff, so this will just be your label. I don't know. You should cancel. It's not gonna be heavy enough. Send the cancellation request, and I'll accept it. It is the Breaker. That's a G.I. Joe classified mass device breaker. Yeah, send it, because we can't do anything with that anyway, because even if... I mean, I guess if I'm shipping these loose, it won't matter. It depends, Avi. Do you want me to ship this stuff tomorrow? Because what I'm thinking right now is that I'm losing steam a little bit, and that maybe I'll cut off the reviews here, and then I'll do the other 4, if not tomorrow, then next week. So you could keep this, and then I'll ship the ones that we reviewed tonight tomorrow. I don't know if your next week is fine. But I do want to get something out to you, so I can get, like, these out tomorrow. So if you keep that listing and they're loose, then it won't matter, because they're not going to go too far over. You don't necessarily have to cancel it. Alright, so let's keep this listing. I'll ship these 4 tomorrow. Then, if not tomorrow night, then we'll do a similar thing like next Friday with these 4. Because what we have left is we have Kingpin, Spider-Man 77, and then the Psylocke Thanos 2-pack. That's what's in there. And 4 is a good number. One of them's a 2-pack. 2 of them are Spider-Man figures, which is why I did it that way. So really the only like random thing is here is like we did 2 G.I. Joes, we did 1 Star Wars, we did 1 Marvel. So I think we'll do it like that then. Because it is like already 2:17. If I do 4 more figures at this rate, we're going to be up to like 4 a.m. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, let's put a cap on this then. Alright, so we've got our 4 figures reviewed for the night. These are the 4 that we're going to do tonight. I'm going to save the other 4 that we were planning on doing for next week. So come back and tune in for that. A lot of cool figures come down the pipe. But we got to rank them now. We got to rank them. So as far as our rankings here, what do we want to do? Okay, so I think it's easy for me to choose number 4 because of how disappointed I was in the articulation on this one, and it'll be the Temple Guard. So this is a classic sculpt versus articulation type thing, and I think that I'm gonna just give him the lowest grade because you literally can't articulate his head. Like they needed to just probably needed to do a soft goods head on this one. Or find some way to let you be able to access that head rotation. And they've done enough hoods by now that they could have figured that out. So I just don't think that the effort was there. I think the sculpt effort was there, but I think that the sculpt completely, that old McFarlane thing. The sculpt is fantastic. The articulation wasn't great. All right. This is an interesting one. It is very tough. It is very tough. Do I want to put the Marvel below the classifieds, or do I want to put the Marvel... I mean, if I put the Marvel above that, she could end up being number 1 if I think that way. I know that Avi wants Breaker to be number 1. It's very tough. Yeah, I'm gonna go with number 3 is the Armored Cobra Commander, which is very surprising. And it's not even really a knock on him, because really the only issue with him is that he can't look around. But we were just talking about like articulation that needs to be better, and well, I love the look of him. I do think that there is an articulation issue there, though. But, I mean, he's got the iguana. Oh, the accessories, though. Oh, my God, it's so tough. This is a very tough one. Because that means that I would have to put, like, Breaker in 3rd. I love the iguana so much, though. Alright, it's not about the iguana. I think that the second best accessory here is the iguana. But I'm still going to leave him in 3rd. And that's not a bad thing. There was a clear-cut worst figure tonight. The other 3 are you could pick any of them, because I think that they're all great figures. But I am going to leave Armored Cobra Commander at 3rd. I think he has fantastic accessories. But while I say it's great that they give you the 2 head sculpts, you could choose to do the serpent version or the human version, we know I'm going to use the serpent version. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll leave him in 3rd. I do like him, but the one thing that I keep thinking about is that I can't move his head around. And that's the same issue that we had with the Temple Guard. And then in 2nd, it's tough. It's tough. It's like the thing of it is that Breaker doesn't really have an issue. He doesn't have an issue. All of these other 3 figures have issues except for him. So I think, but I love the board. All right, whatever. Second, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put Shalabal Silver Surfer in second. I'm gonna let Avi win the tiebreaker on this one. I think that this board is the best Silver Surfer board that we have gotten from the Marvel Legends line. I love the design. I love the details on this figure. I love the base they gave us. I love the look of the way that she looks. I love the bronze accents that they put all over this figure. I think it just looks so good. She has marbleization issues, which, while we don't mind them as much on a Silver Surfer type character, they still do exist. It's still an issue with using this type of plastic, and it all comes down to the type of plastic that they use with the issues on this figure, because she is very slippery, as I've said a million times already. She's sitting there, she's on her thing, she's got her iguana, she's hanging out, so there's no problem there right now. But I do feel like over time we could have some issues with this one. It's not as gummy as this plastic has been in the past, I don't think. There could end up being some warping, but I just think that her articulation it's already loose. It's only gonna get looser. So that's what it is. But she's got the Eucharist, accepting of the Eucharist hand. Good selection of hands. Only one head sculpt, but I don't think we necessarily needed another. You know, it's always good to have another, but you choose the one you want and you go with that one, right? It's just the slipperiness. The slipperiness of the joints themselves, and the slipperiness of her putting herself on the board and having her stay on the board. And that's it. And then number one's going to be Breaker. I am very surprised. I'm more surprised than anybody else would be that this is my choice for tonight. I would have thought that the Armored Cobra Commander would be number one, and he ended up in third. I think that he's just well executed. He is a symptom of them doing such a good job with this G.I. Joe classified line and just having good pieces to work with overall. He has fantastic articulation. Maybe his forearms are a little bit thin, but he has such good articulation. He's got two good head sculpts. It's hard to choose between them once you get everything going. I love the watch. The watch that you can read the numbers on is fantastic. My only issues were really the holsters. But the backpack looks good. The hose on the backpack looks good. The hose is not popping out. He just really doesn't have any issues. Any issues that actually matter. Because to solve me not liking the holsters or the belt, you line the belt up, you get it where it needs to be, you don't even use the fucking holsters. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world. Have him holding his gun with the silencer on and stash his knife. I would have docked points for not being able to put the knife somewhere, and then I found where the knife was, and it's in a good place. It's not over other things. And the number one thing that I like about this figure is I just really like the color gray, this bluish gray that they used for his armor. Like, it just looks so good. So number one is Breaker. I'm very surprised, but I'm gonna go with the Breaker on the number one. So there you go. There's your rankings of these four figures. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. It was good to be back reviewing some figures. We haven't done it in a while. I think we had a good crop of things. It's good to have a nice balance of things we liked and things we didn't like. I think all of them have some pros and cons, but for the most part, the pros outweigh the cons. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. As far as who's in stock, who's not, we're sold out on Shalabal. The other three I still have in stock. So Armored Cobra Commander, Jedi Temple Guard, and Breaker are all still in stock. We're sold out on Silver Surfer, Shalabal. But we do have other Fantastic Four First Steps figures. I have Flame On Johnny, Flame Off Johnny. I have Reed, I have Sue. The only ones I don't have from that wave right now are another Shallow Ball Silver Surfer for sale and a Thing. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So if you guys enjoyed this, throw it a like. We'll be breaking this out on multiple platforms. We're currently live on Whatnot, which is our selling platform, YouTube and Twitch. We'll do some breakout videos, clip things out. We'll be on TikTok. We'll be on Instagram. Give us a follow across social media at Joba's Palace. Action figures are our bread and butter, so feel free to shoot me a DM if you want something, if something catches your eye on either one of our review streams or one of our sales streams that's archived. Those all get archived on YouTube and Twitch, so check them out. We work a lot of local shows. We're in the Queens, Long Island area of New York, so if you guys are local and you want something, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram or on Whatnot. If you're on Whatnot right now, feel free to bookmark the upcoming streams. I added all streams for the next couple months, so as long as you bookmark it, it will never get deleted. You'll always get some type of notification for that stream. Even if our schedule changes and I move the streams around, I don't delete stuff. I just eventually do the show. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us. I appreciate you guys. I hope everybody enjoyed all the reviews. Have a good one. Peace out. That was just me signing off of the YouTube review portion of this. So I'm just stopping my recording. I will stay live a little bit longer while I clean up. If anybody wants anything while I'm doing that, please let me know. I'm going to give you guys a better view of the inventory now, since we can move stuff around and get away from being on the desk. So here's your featured area. And then we can see some more of the shelves over here. So let me know if any of that catches anybody's eye. Over there. And like I said, we have a lot of the stuff that we just reviewed in stock still, so. What can I use to ship these? Alright, I'll deal with it tomorrow. That's fine. Only thing that I want to do is get rid of these boxes. Do you want any of these backdrops, Avi? Let me know. Maybe this Temple Guard one. Or the Fantastic. You don't need the Fantastic Four one. Let me know if you want the Temple Guard one. That would probably be the only one that I would think you might be interested in. requests, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to sign off for the night. I'm going to go ahead and say there's last call for figures, last call for figures. So if anybody wants anything before we sign off, let me know. Otherwise, give us a follow at Joba's Palace across all social media. Bookmark upcoming shows. Shoot me a DM either on here or on Instagram if there's something specific you're after, or if you want to make an offer on something, or if there's like a bundle you want to put together, that's cool as well. Alright, anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We're going to head out. I appreciate you guys. Good night.